What's up guys, welcome back or welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be installing our new awning from 23ZERO. It's the straight pull out bushcraft awning, the 62 by 98 I believe. It's the smallest one they make, and we're going to be installing it with our RACKS, Brax, our quick release system, and a couple other brackets to make it all work together. So with that being said, stay tuned and I hope you enjoy the video.
Alright, so before we get started on the awning, you might have seen or heard me talk about in my other videos about the hardware situation for my roof rack. Obviously the ones I got, they now look like doo-doo, so I went ahead and ordered a new hardware set that CBI sells separately. Just to show you the difference between what I'm replacing, the new bolts are much longer and they are even a T-bit versus Phillips, which is much more preferred for me, and obviously now I won't have a rust issue. And the very last thing I'm doing to get started is to take off my max tracks to give me some room to work. So these are the L brackets that come with the awning. I was planning on using these to attach the quick release system to, but once I started dry fitting some pieces, I realized that because of the little gap on the Prince rack, I wasn't able to match up the holes correctly without having a gap. And even if I flip the L bracket down, I'll just have the same gap but now on the bottom. After doing some searching around, I found these cool brackets from RCI, which will clear the little lip and give me lots of play to match up the holes on the RACKS Brax. So the first thing I have to do is put the RACKS Brax themselves onto those RCI brackets because I won't have room to do it otherwise, and it should end up looking just like this. Now this quick release system did come with instructions and loads of hardware, but it's a lot of stuff meant for roof racks that look like this. So that, and also the fact that I did lose the instructions, I'm using some common sense and working with what I have to make these work. I started with grabbing the bigger bolts that are supplied, and then I paired them with the largest washers. I then fed them through the RACKS Brax and put slightly smaller washers on the other side, and then the locking nuts. You will have to hold both sides as you tighten. You can do something like I did and have a ratchet on one side and use an impact on the other. There's many ways to do this, but the result should look just like this. Now to pop them on the roof rack itself, it's very easy. RCI provides exact hardware for each bracket and it's very self-explanatory. The only thing tricky about this, as you may see, is the bolts on the track are really close to the openings for the hardware, so you have to put it in the exact spot so everything will catch and be able to tighten. As you can see here, this bolt ended up being right in that sweet spot and it was just spinning in place, but all I had to do was loosen it and move it over just enough for it to catch, and everything was able to be snug. Next, I'm attaching the pieces that actually clip into the brackets onto the awning. I did that by sliding in the smaller bolts provided and sandwiched it with washers on both sides, and then finished it off with a locking nut. I left the bolts fairly loose so I can slide it around and make sure I have it in the correct spot for the RACKS brackets, and also make sure it's where I want it to sit on the truck. Once I got it clipped in and moved where I wanted it, I went ahead and made some little marks with a Sharpie to show where I needed to tighten the pieces down at. After that, I took it back down, tightened those bolts up, and I put it back up again. So there you go, super easy quick release system. But you might be thinking, wow, that's super easy to steal. Well, that's why it comes with these pins to keep it in place. They also come with this key so it locks the pins in place so you can't take the awning off at all. Now I almost had to move the entire bracket to be able to get the key in there, but after I opened the door, it gave me the room I needed to turn the key. The only complaint I have about these is that the lock is kind of finicky, so I had to shake around the RACKS brackets to get the key fully turned so it would lock. But once I did, it seemed to work great. Alright, it's finally time to open up this awning and check it out. I didn't look up any instructional videos for this, and I didn't practice beforehand for video purposes. I just wanted to show you generally what setting this up by yourself would look like. So there you go. It'd be much easier to set up with two people obviously, but it's very doable to set up by yourself. It's just a little awkward trying to hold everything up while you set the support legs. This awning ended up pulling out way farther than I expected, and it looks great. Putting it back up now is just super easy. You just pretty much do everything in reverse, and it fits up nicely. Now just imagine you're coming home from a trip, you take all the stuff off your truck like your tent, boxes and whatnot, and you just quickly unlock the pins and your awning pops right off and you can put it in storage or whatever you wish until the next adventure. The kit also comes with these covers to put on when your awning is off, and just to make sure those don't go anywhere or get messed with, I'm also locking those in place. When you're driving around town, this is what it should look like as is. Now I know what you might be thinking, you always take all this stuff off your truck, no matter how small, so you can be a more efficient daily driver, but you always have your max tracks on. And I guess that's true, it's just something I've never really taken off. I guess I have to have some type of cool guy points driving around town. That's all I have for today, guys. I'll drop the links for the stuff in today's video in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.